So let's start talking about beer, brother. You are.
Okay.
Let's. What do you do? We'll start off like this. What are you drinking?
Mexican lager.
Mm.
The one we discussed in depth months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we really dove in on that. So I've been making. I mean, it's been one of our biggest sellers. Yeah, if you're watching the video, man, his drinking vessel is next level. But we've been making an adjunct lager at Cartridge for, I don't know, probably 2 of the 3 years that we've been open. And it was kind of one of those things where we were making some different lagers and we were looking at maybe trying to create a little bit of a footprint in the area as a place that, you know, is a lager producing brewery. And we were doing a lot of traditional German stuff. And then we're like, well, listen, let's make something. Let's make an adjunct lager. So something down 4.2, 4.3, 13 IBU, stuff like that. Nice and light. And man, it really flew off the shelves for us. Whenever that beer is on tap, it's always at the top of the list. You throw a lime in it and it just serves. How have you found that beer being received, at least through the lens of like sales wise? What are the sales telling you on putting that light lager up?
It's going pretty good. It's either a number 1 or a number 2, but if it's number 2, it's pretty close. Like it's very close. I started off as a Mexican lager on the menu, and then I was talking to a beer rep, and he thought, well, is it a spicy beer? Which made me think that might be throwing people off if they didn't read the description. Yeah, sure. I had no thought of that. So I changed it to Redwood Light. Because in the past they had a Redwood Light beer on there, and it was a good seller. So I renamed it, and it hasn't really changed anything. Yeah. So either way, it's still a number. Usually a number 1 or number 2. Number 1 is either a Kolsch or this Mexican light lager.
Sure. So I think that's interesting because I think Kolsch is one of those real classic lighter beers that you can put on because it kind of scratches that itch for the people that say, give me the lightest beer you have. Yeah. But it can also be, it can also be appreciated on kind of the nerd level too, right? Of really being able to dig in with that. So yeah, I think it's interesting that it's right up there toward the top, and I think it kind of speaks to how many people are still. And when I say I don't mean it to sound like I'm like I'm being insulting, but man, a lot of people out there drink yellow fizzy beer, man.
Yeah, most people do. Our best seller has always been the Kolsch, except for that one. It's always been our Kolsch. It's never been a stout or anything like that. It's always a Kolsch.
And that beer in that vessel is probably a little bit more golden than what it looks like in because especially up by the calf. In the calf portion of the boot, you could stop rubbing it.
Well, quit talking. I'll quit rubbing.
But I remember you sent me some other pictures on. Yeah. Just beautiful, pale yellow, perhaps straw rock. Yeah, how do we feel about straw there? Are you drinking it with? Good. Are you drinking it with a lime tonight? Do you serve it with a lime at the brewery?
Yes, the lime at the brewery, but not tonight. I have them, but I just didn't do it.
What is your preference with that beer?
Lime.
Lime. Tell me why.
Lime. I don't know. Just because it's when I made it, that's the way I thought of drinking it, and I think it does add a little something because it's a super light beer. It's like 4%, 4.1, whatever it is. It's light, and the lime goes well with it. It was made to have lime as one of the ingredients.
Sure.
So that's how it was. That's how I had it in my brain. That's how I made it. That's how I think it tastes better. Whether you may or may not think so, or anybody else, I don't know, but I think it tastes better with.
So I think the interesting thing with the style like this, because this style is a little bit nebulous. There's some descriptors in not GABF, Brewers Association style guideline, but I think they go general and say that it can be an adjunct lager, I don't think they necessarily say it has to be corn, has to be rice, different things like that, or has to be dextrose or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, you know, in theory, it is supposed to have some of that adjunct in there to lighten that up. One of the things that I found when I went back, I forget how long ago it was, but I was drinking a Bud Miller Coors product, and it was like the light version of whatever. And I was surprised by how borderline sweet those beers were. It's because in my mind, there's so little bitterness in them. Like there's not, and maybe as people that are used to drinking craft beer, we're just used to a little bit more assertive bitterness. But when you talk about using that lime in there and kind of building that recipe, what kind of IBU do you have in that beer that's in front of you right now?
Calculated at 7.
Calculated at 7?
Yeah.
If that thing was like at 15 or 20, would it work as well with a lime, do you think?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, man. Because I think it's, you know, kind of the two classic balancers of sweetness in beer is, you know, I think off the top, everybody thinks of bitterness, but then also tartness, acidity plays in there as well, right? Sure. And so I think one of the things that helps to make, even if I'm drinking like a light Bud Miller Coors product, if I'm drinking Corona because everyone expects it with Corona, and you can do the same thing with Bud Light, Miller Light, whatever. Having that little splash of lime in there, that little, oh baby, here we go.
Flop, flop, fizz, fizz, or something.
Yeah, man. So, you know, having that little hint of acidity in there, I think actually plucks those beers up. And I think you also get the benefit of, like, when you, and we're both cooking guys. We both enjoy cooking. When you squeeze that lime into that beer, you're also busting out some of those zest, that outer zest stuff that's going on. And really, for me, almost regardless of the citrus fruit, the zest always seems to be the thing that packs the most impact, that brings the most impact. You know what I mean? I just think it brightens it up, man. I absolutely love it in those beers.
Yeah, I think it makes it more drinkable as opposed to just being some light fizzy thing. I think it gives it a lot of character.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you feel as if you got any value out of the video, please like and subscribe. There are also other videos that you can watch. They're gonna maybe be over here or over here. Appreciate you watching.